Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever the hell you're listening to this. You're listening to episode 13 of Fat Unathletic Nerds Talking Sports, the sports pod with dad bods. This is your host, JackKnife, along with our other host, the Zack Danielz. Hey, Zach, how you doing?
Been doing good, man. Haven't been on an episode in a little bit. Been crazy with wedding planning and prepping. So, just glad. Like, a lot of stuff has happened the past couple weeks. A lot of stuff. It feels like we're back into the swing of things, man. Feels like we're back into the swing of things with sports. It's great.
That's good, man. I mean, my wedding's not for another couple of years, so we have not quite the stage you are. I mean, I don't really know how to contribute. I kind of contribute, music ideas and stuff. Brienne's like, "What do you want out of the wedding?" I'm like, "You to show up." I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I don't know if that's a man thing. Like, we're just simple like that,
No, it is a man thing. We're way more simple. Like, Catherine has the decency to ask me for opinions, and I look at it and go, "Okay, yeah." But
yeah,
a lot of girls are just taking it.
That's
the best way to do it, man. I feel like some girls think that like you're gonna have all this input. I was like, how much detail can I go into it? And then she's like putting flowers on the chairs and like what the pergola. I didn't know what a fucking pergola was until we were at the venue, and like what kind of like stuff to put on there and flowers you put on it. I was like, you're talking right through me right now. I have no idea what you're talking about, and she's got it all. She's got that handled. We're gonna have a good time. We got less than 3 months, so
I don't even know what the fuck a pergola is. I never even heard that word in my life.
I don't even know how to spell it.
I mean, yeah, all I really can know for sure that I've contributed is music. I picked like a song for obviously my future wife and I's first dance. So the song the bridesmaids and groomsmen will go into, and Tommy Joe, our other host, is going to do a little cover of Jack and Diane, but he's going to change it to Jack and Brienne. So,
that's perfect. That's awesome.
But anyway. Enough wedding talk. We got sports to talk about. Let's lead into something we did not see coming. Months ago, Aaron Rodgers said he wanted out of Green Bay. Now, he's staying for now. Like, he had a press conference. He got the tail off, the organization without getting fired for it. And, Zach, you followed this much closer than I have. What's going on?
Oh, dude. Okay. It's not even that Aaron Rodgers said he wanted to get traded at the deadline or at the draft. It clearly went beyond that. It was before the draft. He kept reiterating like this was all before draft day. My frustrations are beyond that one day where everyone panicked and was like the Packers are going to trade Aaron Rodgers. No, he basically systematically torched the organization for just not keeping their star player, their star quarterback happy. He's just, and he loves football. He said it's not about the players, and it's not even as much about the coaches. It's just about how they've handled everything going on with, with players. It comes down to he rattled off a list of some Hall of Famers like Charles Woodson, Julius Peppers, and just some guys like Jordy Nelson. I think James Jones was listed. He named so many guys that just they were good. They were good. They were good on the Packers. They were and he made good what's the word? They were just good teammates. He said they were great locker room guys. And they just were thrown to the side sometimes. And some people it made some sense. Some guys didn't do as well outside of Green Bay. Jordy Nelson, that's the reason I go back to him, because his career just got off the rails after he left Green Bay, and injuries and stuff is unfortunate. But, he was just like, I had like a thing going on. I had a rapport with these guys, and like they're just gone. And some guys like Julius Peppers, I think he wasn't even there that long. Long-time Panther, and then he went back, I think, to the Panthers to retire with them. Like, one of the best defensive ends in the history of football, and you just... Why do you not keep him? Why would you not keep him? And he just basically mapped out how they gave him his input meant absolutely nothing to the organization. It felt like he said that he would give them advice, or he'd give his take on a scenario, and they kind of just like, yeah, sure, okay, you're here to play football. We're here to make the business decisions. That's and look at how the rest of all of sports really. I mean, the players are starting to take a lot more control of their careers.
Just look at LeBron James and how
happens.
much he's. Just look at LeBron James and how much he has in situations.
Dude, yeah, he's. I mean, I don't know if Tom Brady had this much pull in New England because him and Bill Belichick were the thing. No, yeah, but like they kind of knew what Tom Brady could use, and then when he went to Tampa Bay, oh no, he wanted Antonio Brown, and everyone we all know the whole Antonio Brown scenario, like situation, but like he's a hell of a player. So when Tom Brady says, let's get Antonio Brown, and he has his stuff, and he had to deal with like a suspension, I think, when he came back or whatever was going on. Point is, the guy came in and he played, and the team won a Super Bowl. You know, sometimes you got to listen to the star player. You got to cater to him a little bit. I don't know. I mean, LeBron James has like, he can move mountains.
He has organizations by the balls, especially when he was on the Cavaliers. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, your quarterback, you know, I don't know if quarterback is as important as some people make it out to be. I'm not saying it's not important. But obviously, you know, your quarterback saying, like, listen, I need this type of help around me in order to succeed. You should listen. You should listen.
Yeah. He said, like, it's not even like, he said it just wasn't, he took a while. I think he was really trying to pick his words real nicely. I mean, when I say system, I mean, like, he picked them apart piece by piece. He went through every month from January. That's why it wasn't a draft thing. He said in January when the season was winding down and then they lost the playoffs, and just he was just picking apart every little thing that happened that just transpired over the past. I mean, he referred to things from over the past years, just more vaguely. But like in this year, in 2021, he just picked apart every tiny little thing that pissed him off. And it came down to, I guess, his camp really saying on draft day, Aaron Rodgers wants a trade. What did that do? The whole football landscape, like, burst into flames and were freaking out. Like, where's he going to go? Who's going to get Aaron Rodgers? Like, that's a huge... That's why I think quarterback is the most important part of a team, because you don't have a good quarterback, you don't really have a good. You're not gonna have a. You're gonna struggle. You're gonna struggle mightily, but it's the fact of he just basically said like, yeah, these guys don't really care. I'm starting to sound like him. He's just such a monotone, laid back. He's like, yeah, they just don't take my advice and. I don't know. It feels kind of disrespectful. Won a Super Bowl, and the most incendiary comment was when he said, "Green Bay is not a vacation destination.
No, it's not.
People come here to play with me, and possibly win championships." I was like, "Damn, it's not Miami. It's not New York. It's not L.A. I mean, even like Houston or Dallas, but like you go to Green Bay."
There's nothing there except the Packers. There's nothing there except the Packers.
Oh, it's football. It's like that weather is football. Like that's what it is. And Lambeau Field is like the biggest thing. It's the landmark in Green Bay. And I mean, I'd probably say Wisconsin. I don't know nearly enough about Wisconsin. But I'll tell you this, Lambeau Field, my dad went there because he's one of those stock owners, we have like it's really cool. But
so is Aaron
he gets
Rodgers,
mail from Green Bay.
Yeah, is Aaron Rodgers going to show up at your house, at your dad's house, and give him the finger?
Dude, I mean, if he did, my dad would probably be like, I don't blame you. Like he's annoyed by all of this bullshit too. Like he's just like, it's just dumb. Like you have a great talent like him. He threw 48 touchdowns and 5 interceptions last year. He won MVP.
Yeah.
What are you doing? And he's been calling Jordan Love J-Lo, so it's like it's not like he doesn't hate him or anything. He can't blame the guy that they draft. And he's a quarterback. He came in. There was a video I saw recently of another quarterback on the roster. They were at training camp. He was helping him out, like he showed him something with his foot, like he was commenting on his footwork, and he watched his footwork all the way through the next pass, and he was like, Aaron Rodgers wants to play football, win football games, and win titles. That's it. but he kind of knows. I think he would know something about maybe a couple players and how it helps like morale, and he clearly just seemed it was like one of those I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed moments. Like he's just really disappointed in how the organization has handled him and the team since that Super Bowl when he had, because you'd think with that kind of quarterback, even with Tom Brady in the league, with that kind of quarterback, you could win. You can win. And the Packers have clearly shown the past 2 years they're this close. Telling you, man, I wouldn't be amazed if they put it all together and they don't kick a field goal in vital moments of a game. They could go to the Super Bowl and they could have a chance.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, in other NFL news, kind of getting to the teams in New York, if you want to say anything about the Eagles, I'll let you. But first, Kelvin Benjamin tried to, revitalize his career. The Giants were the only team to, really give him a chance. But, Joe Judge asked him to lose weight. Of course, he came in getting fatter. Judge is like, what the hell are you doing? And, they eventually cut Benjamin. And, Benjamin, said something like, oh, you're holding back my career, blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, you held yourself back. How are the Giants holding you back? They were the only team to offer you some kind of way, shape, or form back into the game, and you're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep being a fat ass. And he suffered for it. He's suffering the consequences. And the New York Jets, my Jets, I mean, everything's been going so well so far this offseason. They finally signed Zach Wilson to his first contract. It's like, all right, how many times is it gonna take this long to sign your first round pick to a contract, like going into training camp? Because they had this issue with Darnold, they had this issue with Quinnen Williams. It's like, oh god, come on. Everything's been well so far. I want to have confidence in these guys, but there's always something that's got to make me wary.
Yeah, that's crazy, but yeah, that's crazy with the Wilson thing. And Kelvin Benjamin, that was just such a laugher. Like, I forgot about him because of the fact that, when he came into the league, I think he was, like, okay. He was amazing in college. He helped Jameis Winston, I believe, win a championship. I think he was on that team. I think he won the game-winning, like, touchdown or something. But he was a big dude, but he literally got bigger. And I forgot all about him.
Apparently he went into camp as a tight end. I mean, you could be a big as a tight end, but obviously you can't be fat. I mean, listen, well, the name of our show is Fat Athletic Nerds Talking Sports, but if I'm a wide receiver, believe me, I'm losing this. If the coach asks me to, and I'm on like the last legs of my career. Basically, the Giants took a chance on him the same way Tom Landry took a chance on Mike Ditka after Ditka had a miserable stint in Philadelphia. But the thing is, Mike Ditka did take the chance on himself and played some of the best football of his career after that. Kelvin Benjamin, just dropped that opportunity, blew that opportunity.
He could have been a tight. I mean, he was always a big dude, but now he got bigger, so it's like, okay, now you can play tight end. You just got to lose a little bit more weight for the spot. But I mean, it's kind of funny with that situation. Like, what is too big then for a tight end? Like, I mean, I don't know how heavy he was. Do you know what his weight was? Like,
I don't know, but there's a big difference between heavy because of fat and heavy because of muscle. You look at Gronkowski, who knows? Gronkowski might weigh more than him, but you look at Gronkowski, it's obviously pure muscle out of him.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, no, it's also another thing when the trainers are saying to lose weight and you gained weight. It's like, the fuck, dude? Like, how? Let's go for a run.
The only weight you better be gaining is muscle at that point. But before we get into our next topic, any news out of the Eagles?
I love how. There's a couple things. There's Devontae Smith being held in practice because of some leg injury, but he seemed fine. That must be precautionary. I can't wait to see him. I hope that the whole he's too skinny thing isn't a big fucking deal, but. And then there's Carson Wentz might get injured, which hurts that trade that they had where if he plays 75% of the snaps, we would get a first-round pick. But you know what? We don't have an injury-prone quarterback anymore, so I'll accept it. Whatever, if that's what it takes, I obviously don't wish anything wrong with him. It does feel like he just wanted to fuck Philadelphia one last time.
I mean, Tommy Joe, like, he's a big Colts fan. He wasn't too thrilled about that. He shared in our group chat, a possible trade scenario. I don't know which insider put this out there or like theorized this, but Nick Foles to the Colts. It's like if that.
I'll fucking shit myself. Oh my god, that'd be so funny. Oh my god, that'd be so funny. But like clearly Nick Foles is beyond. He's just back to what he is outside of Philadelphia. I'm telling you, it's magic. Like, I hope he comes back at like age 40 and just signs with the team and plays one game and they somehow win and he has like 4 touchdowns and 500 yards. Just because I just want to see one more magical moment, whether it's one game or like a run of games. But like, I don't know. I think Nick Foles is finally He peaked in the Super Bowl. I don't think anyone doesn't peak in the Super Bowl. So,
anyway, we got a lot to talk about tonight. We gotta go on to
what's next, bro?
I mean, next is the NBA. We're gonna be quick with this because we kind of dropped the ball on this one. We didn't realize, like, for example, we didn't realize the NBA draft was this Thursday. I'm like, oh boy, but Cade Cunningham of Oklahoma State drafted first overall by the Detroit Pistons, but big trade. Russell Westbrook is going to the Lakers after the Wizards made a trade with Los Angeles.
Yeah. We're going to see how that works. I mean, Russell Westbrook is his own one-man army, and
now
LeBron
he's
is
with
LeBron.
And Anthony Davis. Don't forget Anthony Davis. I mean, I think now this practically guarantees Lakers, Nets in the finals next year, which kind of disappoints me in the sense that, like, oh god, man, I thought we were gonna get like some more parity again, but whatever.
Get the fuck out of here. They didn't. People thought it was gonna be Lakers Nets this year, and they were out in the first and second round. Like, I'm not sold on anyone just being in it. I still want to leave it up to parity. I mean, like, yeah, we did have that run of LeBron versus the Steph Curry loaded Warriors, and it was just, it got tired. But like that was both those guys. LeBron's finally starting to show some age.
Yeah, I'm not at all mad at Steph Curry or LeBron for just being better than everyone. It's just like, as a fan, I'm just like, okay. I mean, I appreciate how great you guys are. It's just like, oh god, I want to see something different. Like, I don't want to see this. Listen, if you're a fan, the only way you want to see like the same team in it over and over again is if it's your team in it over and over again. Right.
Yeah, no, everyone gets tired of it pretty quickly. And just we're finally starting to see LeBron slow down a little bit. He's still amazing. He's not the best in the world anymore. I think that goes to Kevin Durant. Durant's run against the Bucks in that 7-game series was utterly fucking ridiculous. Yeah. Insane. The dude was just putting up points, and apparently I remember it was like the toe of his shoe on the 3-point line that's what sent them to overtime that game. And that if he makes that, they probably advance.
Yeah.
Or I think they would advance. Like, they just I don't believe though that you can just call a team is going to go to the championship immediately. I mean, like, people were saying that the Buccaneers were going to go to the Super Bowl last year, but no one actually took it seriously, and then it happened.
Yeah, I mean,
now people are seriously.
I mean, Stephen A. Smith, after the Miami Heat signed Ray Allen at the time, like, this is like the day or so after the Heat won their first or second championship. No, their first championship with LeBron. And Stephen A. Smith was immediately, if they do sign Ray Allen, they're going to win again. And he was right. But yeah, anyway, you were saying, Zach? Sorry to interrupt you.
No, I just don't want to chalk it up like, hey, did anyone predict the Bucks Suns finals? Even if the Lakers and Nets don't make it, did you expect the Bucks and the Suns to make it? Philly was the 1 seed. They lost to the Hawks. The Hawks at the 5 seed almost made it in. Yeah. And Nate McMillan, their coach, he was their interim coach. Wow. Now he's full-time head coach. So, like, we don't know what's going to happen. In the past 2 years with the pandemic affecting last year, huge in the bubble, And then you had this year where we were kind of like easing back into reality. Yeah, I mean, and, tons of injuries too. It was, that quickened season because they should have just waited. Honestly, that did ruin a lot of the playoffs with how many people got injured. But
Yeah.
hey, there's no asterisk for this, right?
No.
If there's no asterisk for the bubble, there's no asterisk for this one, especially because like they didn't have any games canceled or anything like that due to COVID. So
And last thing, one last NBA thing. Did you see Space Jam 2? Because I haven't.
nah, man, it's a kids movie. I like the first one. I'll probably check it out at some point, but like, it's it's a kids movie, Like I like people getting all riled up over it. I was just like, it's still a kids movie. It's gonna be corny, and I don't know. I think LeBron James is probably a better actor than MJ. I mean, Michael Jordan. He's so stiff in that movie. It's insane. I don't know. I saw someone like praise him. I was like, dude, he looked like he looked like he was reading the lines as he was acting. LeBron though has been in movies, so
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, he was in that movie Trainwreck with Amy Schumer. I don't know what else he was in. I didn't see that movie, but all I knew is that he was in that. But anyway,
yeah, anything with Amy Schumer, I don't want to see.
no, I mean it's current Amy Schumer. Amy Schumer used to be funny. But anyway, let's head to Tokyo. Talk about the Olympics. We really haven't talked about that, but big story. The most decorated gymnast in U.S. history. I think no one's gonna argue that Simone Biles dropped out of some competitions. Citing mental health reasons. She wanted to prioritize her mental health. She went through some kind of routine or maybe a practice, and just something wasn't right there. So she took herself out of the competition. I think there was other things going on, considering, she kind of gets graded on the curve because she's so good. She basically gets punished by the judges for, being better than everyone, in a sense.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're probably gonna see this more often now, and I'm 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 gonna like ease on it. You know what?
Yeah.
Let them take a break, especially Olympic athletes, man,
She,
on that global scale.
yeah, Simone Biles has nothing to prove to anyone. I think we all pretty much,
Yeah.
it's practically unanimous that she's the best. I mean, the Team USA still did well without her, Sunisa Lee won gold in her place, and I think the individual round, I wish we could have a lovely Brienne here to talk about because she was a gymnast, but, she's like, I don't want to be on camera.
Oh, really? That's pretty cool.
Yep, yeah, Brie changed with Laurie Hernandez when they were like little kids.
Oh, that's fucking awesome, dude. Well, I know like people were like, "Oh, she's a shame to this country.
Yeah, okay.
She's a awful." I'm like,
Okay.
I was like, you can be upset, but like, what the fuck, dude? Like the chick has won so many gold medals. In the Olympics, I think she has like a handful, but considering like all competitions, dude, she is decorated, like insanely decorated with medals, like all of them.
Yeah.
Like they're just she's a winner, man.
There's moves
Yeah.
in almost every competition named after her. I mean,
Yeah.
but
You know what I think too?
Go on.
Oh, go on. I'll just say this real quick. We keep talking about this. People keep bitching about this. I think they're going overboard, saying she's like a hero, but also people are going overboard saying like she's a shame. And I'm just like, can you name anyone else on the U.S. women's gymnastics team? Go ahead. I can't. I'm not gonna pretend I can.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna. I do. Do I feel a little bad for whoever it was that missed the cut on this team because of it? Yeah, but at the same time, Simone Biles didn't go into this like thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna do this." It just happened.
No, yeah, it
And here's the thing.
sometimes you're not there.
Yeah, and here's the thing: the judges curving your score alone, like punishing you for being better than everyone else. It's like we put out a video on our social media. It's basically parodying, like Superbad, like when Michael Cera's playing the game. It's like, why do they make it like this if you can't even win? Then why are you even freaking playing? Like, for that alone, I don't blame her. It's like you're punishing me for being better than everyone else. Like, all right, here's a little malicious compliance. I'm not gonna play. Okay. Like I'm punishing you.
I read something. It was on Twitter, so take this with a grain of salt. In fact, like maybe even maybe even just don't believe me, But I did read a thing that says like apparently they have really strict rules for like
Absolutely.
ADHD meds, or something with medications, and like she couldn't take them. That's kind of fucked up if you ask me, but we're not going to get into
That
any,
that's why
you know.
the USA skateboarders came in third. They didn't, because we sent the sober skaters. But
Yeah, they passed the drug test. That's why we lost.
but yeah, for anyone who sees that video on our social media pages, we're not in any way, shape, or form making fun of Simone or her situation. In fact, we're defending her. We're just understanding her point of view from a comedic perspective. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh my god.
Yeah. Not
Yeah,
that anyone's
I
freaked
mean,
out, but there's always
yeah,
ways to
well,
interpret things. But yeah, I don't blame her at all.
yeah,
They're trying to make it like, I'm going nuts trying to, do well for you, and you're not even going to give me the full points I deserve. Plus, I feel like there's I don't remember if she said anything about like an injury lingering that hasn't fully manifested yet. Because the thing is this, in sports like maybe hockey, obviously, but even basketball, football, or baseball, you cannot be 100% healthy and still do the job. Like, you don't have to take a perfect shot in hockey. If you can shank it, if it goes in, it goes in. It's all good. You have to be perfect in, gymnastics, because they're literally judging you. And, I shared something on Facebook the other day, someone saying like, oh, if there's Tom Brady got punished like this, or Michael Jordan got punished like this, blah, 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 blah. I mean, they wouldn't be able to get away with something like that in, sports where it's like, oh, you throw something into a net, it's worth this amount of points, because like that's literally how the rules is set. Gymnastics is set like you are literally judged by that. Like, she can't shank, for lack of a better term, shank her routine in any way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, no, like she could do as many flips and twists as possible in the air, but if she lands and just stumbles a little bit, oh, that's not, nope, we don't like that. Take a point off. Like it's very, very, very fine judgment.
Yeah.
And also, yeah, it's also the other thing is it's judges. Honestly, that's the thing with also, MMA, boxing, anything with judges, with human judges are gonna have human error and
Yeah.
human bias.
I mean,
It's just gonna happen.
yeah, even in the sports I referenced before, we're talking about like NFL, NHL. There's things like making a football move to complete a catch. But obviously that's not quite at the level where it is here. But still, doesn't matter how you catch a football. They have certain standards. Okay, 2 feet in, complete possession, blah blah blah. You can't wiggle in any way, shape, or form when it comes to gymnastics. There's like no wiggle room when it comes to judging there. So yeah, I completely was I disappointed at first? Yeah, but I wouldn't say I completely understand, because obviously I've never been an Olympian, never had that pressure on me before. I mean, she's had it before, so she gets it. But I'm not gonna come down on her. I get why. The weight of the world is practically on her shoulders, and it seems like almost everything is kind of going wrong for her. It's like, what? I need a break from this. I'm sorry, but I need a break from this.
Yeah. No, I Simone Biles is amazing. It's
Absolutely.
it's honestly incredible to me. It's incredible to me that some people are giving her a non-participation trophy, and they're just crowning her like a hero and a champion to all, and inspiration. It's like I'm not disagreeing there, but also like for not participating, I don't know,
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean,
So everyone seems
who knows?
there's extremes on both sides here.
Yeah, I'm tired of it, but who knows? I think maybe a mental. I mean, not saying we should never talk about mental health, especially considering like the past year and a half, where people have been locked because of the pandemic, and like a lot of response to the pandemic. It's kind of like ruined a lot of people's lives. So like
Oh yeah.
I'm not saying I think there does need to be conversations about mental health. I'm not one to do that, but I'm just saying conversation does.
Oh yeah,
need to
no,
be
it's
had.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It absolutely does.
But yeah, Simone Biles. If I highly doubt you're listening to this, you're definitely not listening to this. But who knows? If we ever blow up, she might look back at this. But like I said, if you saw that video too, we weren't making fun of you. We were understanding your point of view in a comedic sense. That wasn't to bring you down in any way, shape, or form. But anyway,
Hi, Simone Biles.
yeah, ironic. Watch one day this will blow. But anyway,
Please.
baseball. Trade deadline was this week. Joey Gallo to the Yankees. It's like, oh, good. Another power hitter that hits bombs but strikes out almost every other at bat. One positive you could take out of this, if you're me, you're a Yankee fan, it's like, okay, at least he's a lefty because, ever since the 2017 run, there's been like almost no lefties in the lineup power hitting. Like maybe Luke Voigt, like they did bring back Gregorius. Only lefty hitters I can think of off the top of my head are like Luke Voigt, I think DJ LeMahieu, but if the Yankees, you have that short porch, shouldn't you load up with lefty power hitters? But that the Yankees weren't done that day. The Yankees weren't done that night. They got Anthony Rizzo. I'm like, ooh, okay. Obviously he too is like more of a power hitter too, but he'll hit for contact when he has to. So far, in 3 games he's had, they just swept the I almost said Mariners. They just swept the Marlins today. He's had 2 home runs. He's got a little mini 3-game hitting streak his first 3 games. I'm happy with Anthony Rizzo so far. And speaking of Cubs who have been traded, Javier Baez went to the Mets. He hit a home run. He threw a bullet to home plate to throw someone out. I don't remember who it was, but all three of those guys who got traded from the Cubs hit home runs in their first games with their new teams.
Dude, they all 3 of them. It's so crazy how you look back 2016, the Cubs finally win the World Series, and they look stacked. They look so stacked.
And before you continue,
it was because
before you continue, I just want to say the third guy is Chris Bryant, who got traded to the Giants. He also hit a home run today. I accidentally included Gallo in that. Gallo was from the Rangers, but sorry, go on, Zach.
Yes, sorry. Yeah, no. We didn't talk about Brian. Gallo is just a big bat on the Rangers. Let's see what he does with the Yankees, who are actually a contender. Anthony Rizzo, Chris Bryant, and what was the third guy? Oh my God. Who's the third guy? Javi Baez. Javi Baez. Oh yeah, and let's add Kyle Schwarber to that list.
Boston, he's with the Red Sox now.
All 4 guys were such vital pieces to that team, and completing that amazing World Series, one of the best. I don't think it'll be topped in my lifetime. One of the best Game 7s ever.
In my opinion, the best Game 7 ever. Who knows if we'll even get replays of that now, because the Cleveland Indians are changing their name next year. We'll save that topic for another day. There's some guests we want to have on. I really can't wait to show guests that I'm really excited for. But yeah, just
okay.
Yeah, kind of a fall from grace. Go on, Zach. For the
you keep interrupting me, you scumbag. But all 4 of those guys. Schwarber this year had that ridiculous run. He was hitting like a home run every freaking day. It was unreal. All 4 of those guys are such vital pieces to that 2016 team, and they look so poised and ready to go on a dynasty, or at least become a powerhouse. And each year, just kind of, dropped off a little by little. And this year they had a mega losing streak, and it was time, and they had a fire sale. They just Craig Kimbrell, the closer, he wasn't on that team. He wasn't on that World Series team, but he's a good closer. And
neither was John
I don't understand how they were doing so bad. I don't understand how they were that bad.
I don't know, but you know what? If you're a Cubs fan, I don't think you should hang your head too low, because you know what? A lot of those guys you mentioned, they did finally get the job done. At 108 years, the Cubs could finally say they won a World Series. The curse of the Billy Goat is officially over as of 2016. It's time to, build up again. Just hopefully it won't take 108 years this time. But you know what? It is what it is.
I was about to say. Just get ready, strap in, and 108 years from now you'll get another one.
Yeah, team we might have to look out for those last year's World Series champions. The Dodgers, they added a lot of depth. They have Max Scherzer. They got him from the Washington Nationals, along with Trey Turner. And I don't know what the hell's happening with Trevor Bauer. I haven't seen any recent updates. But, if that does get resolved and he comes back with the team, believe me, Clayton Kershaw, even if it's in the playoffs, Clayton Kershaw, Max Scherzer, and even possibly Trevor Bauer, I don't want to face them in a 7-game series, let alone a 3-game series. I mean, a 5-game series rather.
I don't think Trevor Bauer is going to be spoke of for a little while.
Probably not.
Probably not come back. I don't know, man. It's not looking good for it. It's almost like the Deshaun Watson thing. It's just it's not sounding good for them. So, but you know that team is just stacked. Then they just get Scherzer. I mean, forget Kershaw. I think Kershaw proved himself in the playoffs last year, but getting Scherzer, oh my God, that's just unfair. And Trey Turner's still a speedster too, and a good shortstop. So,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, do you like the move? Did the Phillies make any moves? You happy with what they did?
I mean, well, we got Ian Kennedy and Kyle Gibson from the Rangers as well, while the Yankees got Gallo. We didn't get anything fantastic. We're still in the middle of the road, so it was really hard for Dombrowski, the GM, to really like, you know, when you're 50-50 all the time. Like I think our record was 51-51 at the deadline or something. You know, it's just like when you're that record, how can you say you're a buyer or a seller? Like you could just sit pat and go with that. But we couldn't sit pat because we just look so ugly. Didi has been terrible in the field. He's been spotty at the plate. Injuries left and right. I don't know what's going on with Bryce. He's hitting not that bad though. But
not necessarily to Bryce Harper standards, is what you're saying.
Well, the point is, it's just like the team has so many like, it's up and down. It's they're literally they're sitting around the 500 mark because they just can't string wins and they don't necessarily string losses. No joke, they just hover around 500 all year long. It's insane. It bothers the hell. We've been mostly under 500 too. It bothers the hell out of me. I think they took 2 games over 500, and I was like, this is it. This is the run. And nope, they lose the next 2, and they're back to 500, and I think they lost the 3rd one to go back under. And I'm like, we're just going to keep doing this. Like, it bothers me. How about this? They just beat the Pirates today with Kyle Gibson making his first start for the Phillies. He's going to basically be their 4th starter for the team because we had only 3 starting pitchers. Everyone else was just kind of Vince Velasquez. I'm done with. Spencer Howard we traded. He was he was one of our best prospects last year. He comes up and they jerk him around. They don't let him. He can't go past 3 innings. The Phillies are so embarrassed. Oh, they had a trade that fell through because someone they were trying to send was injured. Like, what the fuck? They're just so, and they find the most unique ways to lose in life. It's incredible. But let's make this playoff push.
I'll take Didi Gregorius from you. I mean, maybe he misses that short porch at Yankee Stadium. Just saying.
That's not we have a short porch in Citizens Bank. Bro, you can't put him in the field anymore. He's making errors left and right. And there was a play the other day he didn't make. It wasn't called an error, but like he clearly bobbled the ball when he was trying to throw it. And I'm like, this guy can't do anything right in the field this year. And he has I was listening on the radio today for the Pirates game. He has a hit in like 3 of the last 11 games. The thing is, those 3 games, they're multi-hits. Like, so he has a couple hits in each of those games. So it's like, dude, like, you got to do this more. It's just, he's been so spotty. It stinks. But, we got Freddie Galvis back. If you don't know Freddie Galvis, he was on the Phillies when they sucked, like, throughout most of the 2010s.
That's not a good sign.
Cool. He's really good. He's really good in the field. He's not a great hitter, but, hey, Freddie Galvis is back. I'm cool with it.
All right, yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic about the New York Yankees. My future father-in-law is in the room next to me. Hold on 1 second. Hey, Tony, you excited? You excited about the New Yankees?
I like what I'm seeing.
He likes what he's seeing. I don't know if the mic picked that up.
Nope, that's good though. I mean, like, yeah, you guys at least have a real chance at the playoffs.
This is after we recorded, but the reason Zach's not about to be in his chair in a few seconds is because he went to the bathroom. But I'm about to start talking hockey right now. We had, the first few days of free agency. We had some trades and some drafts. First, we'll start off with some of the free agent signings. One of the big ones, Blake Coleman, formerly of the Tampa Bay Lightning, winning back-to-back cups with them, is now a Calgary Flame after signing a 6-year deal with a $4.9 million average per year. Not a bad cap hit at all, in my opinion. He's not a player that's going to put up sexy amount of numbers. But, you know what? He's hungry on the pucks. He's a guy that's undervalued. He can make nice plays from time to time. I think if you are a Calgary Flames fan, you are a little weary on the years. Kind of similar to how the New York Rangers are weary on, maybe the years they gave to Barclay Goodrow. They signed him for another 6-year deal. I don't remember what the average is off the top of my head. But you know what? Me as a Ranger fan, if you get like 4+ years or so of good production out of him, I think it'll be worth it. Plus that contract has no full move clause, and if they can get rid of it if necessary, they'll find a way to. Anyway, the Dougie Hamilton leaving Carolina. He's heading to the New Jersey Devils, who are, I wouldn't necessarily call an elite team yet, but they've definitely gotten much better with this signing. Not to mention the signing of, or not so much signing as much as trade of Ryan Graves from the Colorado Avalanche. Their defense has gotten much better. Mackenzie Blackwood could be shaky at times, but he's shown he can give you great games. PK Subban's been a disappointment there, but maybe with these new faces around him, it could rejuvenate his career. And who's that guy? What's his name again? I gotta look up the Devils roster because I think it's Matt Tennyson. Devils, Matt Tennyson. Yeah, Matt Tennyson. Yeah, Matt Tennyson, he's been showing promise so far for the Devils. Devils have a nice little solid defensive core. That could be a good power play unit for them in the future. And, yep, Zach's still not back yet. But, let's get out of this area. Corey Perry, after losing to the Tampa Bay Lightning 2 years in a row, once as a member of the Dallas Stars, and last year as a member of the Montreal Canadiens, well, if you can't beat him twice, join him. Corey Perry is heading to the Tampa Bay Lightning. I don't have all the contract details ahead of me, but, he's trying to get another ring before, he eventually retires. I'm not saying he's close to retiring now, but, he's kind of entering the twilight of his career at the very least. Alex Ovechkin staying with the Washington Capitals. That should come as no surprise to anyone. I think if anything, Ovechkin would go back to Russia before leaving the Capitals. And Zach's on his way back. I see him there. Yeah, I think it's safe to say Alex Ovechkin, at the very least, will put up a threat to Wayne Gretzky's total of career goals, which is an NHL record. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's 894. Hockey Twitter's going to be mad at me for not knowing this off the top of my head. Just double check. Just don't want to be wrong here. Double check. Yep, 894 goals. I had that on the nose. But yeah, other signings. Gabriel Landeskog, the captain of Colorado Avalanche. Almost looked like he wasn't going to stay, but, clock struck midnight, man. He signed. He signed with the Colorado Avalanche. Their goalie, Phil Grubauer, however, is on the move to Seattle with the Kraken. So, might have a little hole to fill in that Colorado. Zach Hyman, after not being able to break through with the Leafs. Hey, Zach, good to see you're back.
You said breakthrough with Hyman in the same sentence.
Oh, jeez. You just had to point that out. But, Zach Hyman...
I'm such a piece of shit.
I love it. But yeah, Zach Hyman, 7 years with a $5.5 million average. He's puts up good numbers, The 7 years might not necessarily age well, but I think $5.5 million is a good cap hit for him. He's a very physical player, a guy I thought the Rangers at the very least should have been interested in. He's going to try to do what Milan Lucic and Zach Kassian really couldn't do for Edmonton, and that's, be the physical presence on the line or alongside of Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl. He's shown he's done well with, with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Hold on, the lovely Brienne is in here. Do you still wanna? Still?
Thank you.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
She's still camera shy. Everyone, sorry. But
Because I'm here.
But yeah, Philip Deneau, you know, he's kind of option 2 for like teams needing the center and like not in on the Jack Eichel sweepstakes, which we will get into it a little bit. He signed with the Los Angeles Kings. Los Angeles Kings were in on the Jack Eichel sweepstakes too, but this kind of takes him out of it because, you know, he kind of fills the role you need. I mean, he's not going to put up a sexy point total like Eichel, but you know what? He's a very good defensively sound center. And, you know, people forget he's known as an offensive player, but you know what? He's got to defend too, you know, on both ends of the ice. Ryan Suter signed with the Dallas Stars. Braden Holtby also signed with the Stars. Philip Hedl re-signed with the New York Rangers as a restricted free agent. He's still with them for now. Who knows? He could possibly be involved in the Jack Eichel situation, but for now it looks like he is staying. Still out there, David Krejci. Actually, no. David Krejci is no longer still out here because he is heading back to continue his career in his native Czech Republic. Zach Parise, still a free agent, who like Suter, got bought out by the Minnesota Wild. I am genuinely surprised. You could probably ask Big Red right now. He'd probably agree with me. Genuinely surprised he's not a New York Islander yet, considering, you know, they almost traded for him the previous season. He has connections there with the GM Lou Lamoriello. You know, there's also Tuukka Rask with the Bruins. James hasn't re-signed yet, as far as I know. James Neal, Michael Granlund,
Thank you, hon.
Alex Galchenyuk. And let's get into the trades. This one you probably saw. I was a little upset about, Zach. The Rangers traded one of their top wingers, Pavel Buchnevich, to the St. Louis Blues for Sammy Blais and a second-round pick. And here's the thing. Sammy Blais is a good player. I mean, he's decent, but doesn't put up anywhere the point total of Buchnevich. I said Buchnevich, right? Did I accidentally say Kako? I don't know if I said that. Correct me on that. Oh, did I bore you to sleep or did you freeze? All right, we'll find out eventually. But anyway, yeah, Rangers trade Buchnevich for Blais. I mean, Blais brings, you know, something the Rangers do need, which is grit. You know, as we all know after not only those games against the Islanders, but the whole Tom Wilson fiasco. You know, he doesn't have many goals, but you know what? He is a Stanley Cup champion. You know, that does help. You know, now they haven't had any previous winners on the team the past few years. Now they got 2 with Barclay Goodrow and Sammy Blais, so that's a good pick. But, you know, the Rangers absolutely did get fleeced in this deal. But they did make another trade for even more grit. Ryan Reeves, who is practically a sworn enemy of Tom Wilson. Anyone who's been watching hockey knows that. I mean, Zach, after this episode, do me a favor and look up, you know, some Tom Wilson, Ryan Reeves footage. But yeah, because if you want an answer to Tom Wilson, you know, I guess Ryan Reeves would be your answer. I mean, he's a decent hockey player, but, you know, let's be honest. The Rangers got him because he can fight. One of my good friends, DJ Sabato, who played for William Patterson, he said he hates Reeves personally, but it's a great trade for the Rangers because now it's almost certain that no one's ever going to touch Artemi Panarin again. So, yeah, me personally, I'm happy about the trade. You know, my good friend Jake the Snake isn't very happy about it, but, you know, they got this done. They signed Tenorti, who's also fought Wilson a couple times. You know, so the Rangers are adding the grit. And right now it's a matter of, are they overcompensating for it? Because I've said this before, it feels like the Rangers are doing some kind of equivalent of when Ed Snyder, the original owner of the Philadelphia Flyers, saw his team get humiliated by the St. Louis Blues, not only on the scoreboard, but physically, and said, I never want to see this team be intimidated again. Maybe James Dolan, owner of the Rangers, saw, you know, the whole fiasco that happened towards the end of the season and said to himself, I never want to see my team be intimidated again. Will it be as successful as the Broad Street Bullies? I mean, they won 2 straight Stanley Cups. You know, they had some playoff runs after that. But, you know, 2 straight cups, I'd take that. But, you know, I kind of want more than that, obviously. But, yeah, what made me feel a little better about the Buchnevich trade is that the Vegas Golden Knights traded Marc-Andre Fleury, a 3-time Stanley Cup winner, and a Vezina candidate from this year to the Chicago Blackhawks for literally nothing. Nothing, Zach.
Nothing?
Nothing. The NHL.
How do you do that?
I don't know, but the NHL has a flat cap for at least the next 3 years. It's not going up, and teams are being forced to get rid of contracts.
They're not even getting cash back. They're nothing.
I mean, if anything, it's future considerations. But let's go on.
The fuck does that mean?
I mean, the Rangers traded Mark Stahl, the Detroit Red Wings, also for future considerations, but they kind of threw in a second round. They threw in a second round pick too. They were kind of here, just take them off our hands. But anyway, The whole Jack Eichel debacle. If anything, his trade value dropped the past couple days. And per Larry Brooks of the New York Post, the Rangers offered Buffalo Vitaly Kravtsov, Philip Hedl, Zach Jones, Alex Georgiev, and a first for Eichel. And Buffalo said no to that. And I don't know if this was before the Jack Eichel's agent dropped a bombshell. I don't feel like reading it all right now, but it's basically saying how neither camps are in sync, considering, Jack's herniated disc injury and how he wants to get that fixed. But, who knows? That's a bad injury. It's a tough injury to recover from, and it might be kind of a risk for teams who do want him. Wouldn't you say so?
Dude, anyone with a herniated disc, that's scary. That's just not a good injury to have. I mean, no injury.
Especially if you're playing
dumb.
Especially if you're playing a contact sport like hockey. And listen,
hockey's not. That's not where a herniated disc needs to be expanded upon.
Yeah, I want the Rangers to listen. As a Rangers fan, personally, I like that trade. I just swipe out Vitaly Kravtsov for Ryan Strome. Not that you don't know any of these names, Zach. But yeah, that saga's gone downhill. His trade value is much lower now. I mean, it's kind of a good thing if you're a team willing to take a chance on him. But anyway, to the Flyers, Jacob Voracek, who has been traded to the Columbus Blue Jackets for Cam Atkinson, who's one of the more underrated players in the league. But our good friend and co-host, Brick Walters, said the Flyers are in full rebuild mode now, basically because of that. They also signed Keith Yandel. I mean, I think the Flyers, if anything, got worse after this offseason. I could probably say the same thing about the Rangers. I mean, if you're looking at a purely skill-wise point of view, but did the Rangers, balance, add more certain roles through their lineup? Absolutely. Will that make them better? Jury's out right now. Anyway, you want to say something, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, if you got through everything, I just had one question because I think the most interesting thing coming out of this offseason is, what do you think, if you look at the current roster for the Kraken, do you think, what do you think of them? I mean, we saw what happened with the Golden Knights when they came in and just shocked the hell out of the sports world, the entire sports world. What do you think the Kraken are in for?
I gotta be honest with you, Zach. Looking at that roster, I don't think they're gonna really do anything spectacular. To be honest with you, I think what happened,
like your normal expansion team, basically.
Basically, I think what happened was after the Golden Knights, kind of fleeced people. When it came to other deals outside, or trying to be oh no, don't take this guy, take this guy, blah blah blah. I think NHL GMs kind of learned their lesson after that, and they're not gonna let these top guys go to their be taken by the Kraken.
So you're saying Vegas basically they drew a blueprint that the Kraken should try to follow, but might have smartened up other GMs too. They kind of made good business moves. That's why the Vegas Knights were where they were when they came out. And
personally, I think so. I mean, not saying that they don't have good players. Not saying that they don't have good players, but it's good. Looking at the current roster, I'm sorry. I mean, it's going to be very hard to duplicate what Vegas did.
Yeah. No, dude, it's not heard of when an expansion team does something like that. It's just not heard of.
All
so
right.
I was just wondering because that's a, new team. And in hockey, we saw what the Knights did. I was like, what if that happened again? That'd be kind of neat.
I mean, sorry, I'm chewing ice. I think that'll be kind of cool to see, But, I just don't see it happening. But anyway, I'm going to try to wrap up NHL news as much as I can. Let's get into the draft. Owen Power selected first overall by the Buffalo Sabres. The Michigan Wolverines had 4 players either currently on the roster or committed to play for them next season selected in the first 5 picks. That's unheard. I don't think that's ever happened before, if I'm not mistaken.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Michigan's a powerhouse when it comes to hockey. The New Jersey Devils drafted Luke Hughes, the brother of their center Jack Hughes. Jack Hughes coming into year 3, he's definitely gonna improve. And add Luke Hughes to the potential, solid defensive core they have over there. The Hughes brothers, Quinn, Jack, and Luke, first family to have 3 first-round picks in the first round. And like I said, Devils are now a much better team going to this year than they were last year. I'm not saying they're elite yet, but you know what? They're taking a step in the right direction. I don't think that their coach is very good, but you know what? If you have good players, who knows? They may be able to overcome that. The Rangers selected with the 16th overall pick, Brennan Ottman. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. He says he models his game after Matthew Tkachuk, which I like to hear if I'm a Ranger fan, and if the team wants grit, they definitely love to hear that. Still genuinely concerned, I can't believe that they didn't include this pick in the possible Eichel trade, but you know what? I guess the Rangers saw something, they took a chance on him, and I don't know why they're allergic to drafting centers in the first round, but after this pick, in the 3rd round, they drafted 2 centers. But like I said before, are the Rangers better this year going in? From a skill point, probably not. From a purely skill point of view, probably not. From, adding toughness, adding, players who are going to get into the dirty areas, absolutely. After the failure of the Lightning in 2019, they added, a lot of grit players to the bottom of their lineup, kind of like more defined roles, made it tougher for them to play against. Who knows? I certainly hope it works the same way for the Rangers as it did for Tampa, but again, the jury's still out. My heart says they're going to be fine. My head says, I don't know. I do not know. But yeah, the Islanders, they didn't have a first round pick this year, but they drafted 52nd overall and selected Atu Ratti out of Finland. I don't know which team. He was considered at one point to be like the best prospect, but he had some kind of issues. I don't know what they were off the top of my head. I don't want to say what I think they are because, like I said, I don't want to be wrong. But what I get from him is high risk, high reward, kind of guy. High risk, high reward kind of vibes from him. I wish Big Red was able to talk to me about him, like see what he thought. And we might have a little Pete Rose thing going on, Zach, in the NHL.
What's going on?
Evander Kane of the San Jose Sharks, his wife, or soon-to-be ex-wife, put out huge accusations against him, saying he bet on his own games. Yep, you heard that correctly.
Wow. Well.
Now, obviously, he put out a statement saying, denying all the allegations, and then, his wife put out another statement. It's kind of like a divorcing couple fight on the internet. I'm like, oh, geez. Here's the thing. Me, personally, I feel like even if he did bet on the games, I don't think he threw them because I look at his numbers. They are decent. Like, they are good numbers. So,
well,
I don't want to make any comments on that before we know about it, but I feel like at the very least we should bring it up.
Well, I think the thing I have to try to remember, Pete Rose was betting on his own games. I thought he was just called sports betting, which at that time when he was playing baseball was a no-no. He was betting on his own games, though. I forget exactly what. The point is, I don't think Pete Rose should be banned, but
I agree,
like
but
from the Hall of Fame, like he's a Hall of Famer.
From what I understand, Kane had like gambling issues too, and like even went bankrupt or at the very least close to bankrupt at some point. So.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Yeah. So yeah, he's in an even deeper hole than he was then. Like I said, I look at his numbers, and I think if it is true that he was betting on games, I think he would be betting on himself to win. Because like, if you look up his numbers, Zach, he does put up good numbers. Not necessarily point per game numbers, but like close to it.
Okay. Well, we'll let that one play out. That looks like a sticky situation for him, considering it has to do with his divorce.
Yeah, I'd love to hear what me and Darley have to say for it. But yeah, that's just about gonna wrap it up for tonight's episode. I mean, before we go, I did say, like, last episode that, you know, be on the lookout for some video of us playing beer league hockey. It's coming, I swear. Brick has the footage, but, you know, he's had a hell week at work the past, you know, couple weeks. And, you know, we'll get that when he gets to that. But, you know, if you haven't seen already on our social media pages, you know, Splash and Go with Tommy Joe is coming real soon to talk racing with any race fans who might be fellow listeners of ours. I mean, I think that was a great logo designed by the Dan Agan. Great job again, Dagan, if you're listening to this. And yeah, that should just about wrap it up. You got anything to say, Zach?
That that logo is pretty badass. I hope T-Woz can make that video or that podcast happen soon, because I want to listen to it. I haven't been into NASCAR in quite some time too. Hockey and NASCAR, apparently the two things you guys are so adept at, and I like turning it on here and there and take a peek, but you know, when you don't know what's going on as much, I need guys like you and Tom to help me out with this stuff. So I'm definitely going to be listening to T-Woz soon.
Absolutely. He's hoping to keep it up a weekly thing. You know, like, I mean, we'd love to have him on one of these episodes too, but you know, I'm really looking forward to this. But anyway, thank you very much. If you did make it this far, be sure to follow us on all our social media platforms, at Twitter and Instagram, at FUNTS Podcast, and on Facebook at Fat Unathletic Nerds Talking Sports. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. This is JackKnife alongside the Zack Danielz. Have a wonderful night, everyone.
Peace out.